Hi, my name is Jennifer Kranjec. I am an online hypnosis practitioner and I help people in the surgical, medical, and healthcare professions live healthier, happier lives. So, after a hypnosis session, and we're talking a therapeutic hypnosis session here, where you're actually changing the neurology around the problem so that you actually recover very quickly. Post session is where a lot of the magic really happens. Now, in a session, you're going to experience some changes, some insights, some learning, and maybe even some lightning bolt, deeply profound moments. But after the session, this is where the special timing really occurs for all of these changes. And this is what we call sleep integration. And a lot of people say, why do I have to go to sleep after a session? It doesn't make sense. Doesn't hypnosis just fix me? Well, hypnosis is not a magic trick. Okay. This is something that is utilizing what your brain does naturally. And it's a very safe way to allow your mind to realize there's errors in the emotional responses or the feelings that you're having or the negative thought loops that you're having because it hasn't actually corrected the issue to allow it to subside in a proper amount of time. So if you're stuck in a cycle of negativity over something that happened 5 years ago or even in your childhood, and you're angry still, you just bring up the topic and you just explode. Your mind hasn't actually resolved that issue. So what we're doing when you're in a hypnosis session, we're allowing the mind to correct the problem. We're giving it time and we're giving it the space that it needs with the correct prompting and thoughts. So the hypnosis practitioner is not telling you what to do, they're guiding you because you know your problem better than anybody else. So you are the expert. And within your hypnosis session, your mind already knows what it wants on a really deep level. So it will start making those changes for you. And I'm sure that you've seen in your life how your mind has actually helped you overcome things before. It'll do it again in the session. Once the session is over, you're going to feel, in some cases, extremely excited. You're going to be bouncing out of your seat, feeling like you can run a marathon and have a party and have a great time. You just feel so energized and happy. And that's because the mind is like, yay, I finally got rid of that problem. I feel so relieved now. And then all of a sudden, you crash. And the reason why you feel like you're crashing in deep, deep exhaustion is because your brain has just done a massive physical workout to resolve the issue on that deeper non-conscious level. This is where your freeze, fear, or flight, I can't speak today, is in your non-conscious mind. So we're dealing with that more primitive part of the mind. So it works around this problem, and now it is so tired. And in order for all of these heavier neurological changes to be made, your body, your brain is telling you, go to sleep now, because it wants to go into a rapid eye movement cycle, a REM sleep cycle. And when you are in a REM sleep cycle, that is when problems start getting resolved on a deeper level. This is something that's out of your control. Like your breathing happens naturally. You don't control your breathing. You don't control the rate in which your hair grows out of your head. And it's the same thing with your non-conscious mind, where a problem is. It is resolving the issue and making connections to different emotional responses around every single thing that you experience in your life, even the dinner fork that's placed on the table. You have an emotional reaction to that, whether you know it or not. And your mind is actually starting to make those connections and repair things in your mind while you're sleeping. That's why you have to go to sleep right after your hypnosis session. That's why you crash out and feel completely exhausted. So we always recommend sleep until you wake up after a session. So a hypnosis session, it's better to have lots of time after a session where you don't have to rush off to work or go grocery shopping or pick up the kids or something like that. You want to be in a place where you can immediately go right to sleep. And some people, if it's an evening appointment, I do evening appointments, you might go right to bed and just sleep through the night. You might have a couple hours nap in the afternoon if that's what you need. And everybody's going to be different. Some people are going to have a really deep, deep, deep dreamless sleep. and then they're going to wake up. You're going to feel groggy, and then you're going to go right back to sleep again. You might even get up for a little, maybe a half hour or something like that, a little bit of time, and move around and then go right back to bed because your mind is still processing. And your mind will process for days, weeks, months, even years down the road, because every day, every situation you encounter that might be similar to that core issue you had for your session, it's going to make the new connections around that associate it with the better responses, or the appropriate amount of emotion around that response. And that's how this works. So the sleep integration will make or break your hypnotherapy session. So if you don't do the sleep integration, you can count on the fact that your results are not going to be as potent and long term than if you had have slept. Okay, so I hope that answers questions around part of how a session runs and what that sleep integration is for. If you have any more questions about hypnosis or the hypnotherapy services that I offer, please reach out. I would love to hear from you if you have any questions. If you would like a free online Zoom consultation with me, please go to my Calendly link. My website is in the link below, and my Calendly link for my booking page is there. Please check that out. There's lots of resources on my social media and my YouTube. You can look at more videos, more information there. And all sessions that I hold are online over Zoom. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can have your hypnotherapy session in private and in the safety of your own home. And I would love to hear from you again. And that's the video for today. I hope I've helped, and you have a great day.